اليوم البراند اللي عندنا ما يحتاج يتكلم عنه، والسيارة اللي عندنا بعد ما يحتاج أشرح عنها، ولكن اليوم بنطلع بنسولف عن مرسيدس. Thank you, Mr. Sarbil, for having us here.
On behalf of Mercedes-Benz Cars, it's a great pleasure to welcome Top Gear and you personally to the 1000 Milia, the UAE experience. We look forward to hosting you today in quite a special little vehicle.
I can see. So my question is, how many cars left of those?
Well, we only built 200 and this is one of 200. We stopped production in 2013. So this is a very rare and special car.
Is it coming back?
We don't know. We'll see. I know you want one. So we will definitely put in a request.
So should we go for a drive?
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Let's go. Yeah. Bismillah. And I think we're good to go. Seat belt. Discuss the legendary Silver Arrows racing cars and their impact on the brand's legacy.
Mercedes-Benz has, I must say, since the 1920s, been involved through Silver Arrows in racing. It's very important for the brand in terms of innovation, in terms of developing technology for the race car and bringing that to the road. I mean, we've seen many examples of that. The AMG 1 is one particular example, a race car that's resulted in a road car. But also it's helped us to win 12 drivers' championships through Fangio, through Mika Hakkinen, and now recently through Lewis Hamilton. And all of the technology that comes from Formula One finds its way into our cars. So for Mercedes-Benz, this amazing legacy that we have from all forms of motor racing, I think continues with the brand, and this Mille Miglia is testament to that in terms of the classic cars, again, racing, competing. And we are probably one of the only brands in the world that has probably got a classic in every single generation of our product lineup.
So I noticed one thing, that most of the classic cars in the market, most are Mercedes.
Yeah, and I love that, because I think as a brand, you know, no other brand can claim to have as many classic cars as we can. Like I said, in almost every single generation of production, you would find a classic car.
Yes, I was just about to tell you. One question is maybe off the books, I'll say now. Does Mercedes aim more to fashion or more to racing?
So I don't think one comes at the expense of the other. Remember, when we look at what elevates the brand, what helps us to position the brand in the space that our customers are in. So of course fashion plays a very important role in our customers. You know, they've reached this pinnacle of achievement, of success, and for them, you know, showing off their status, showing off their achievement in fashion is very important, and so it is in automotive. So it's a great synergy. Like I said, for us, being involved in racing is also about innovating, about making sure that we always have the best technology proven on the road, brought to the car, proven on the racetrack.
Explore the design language of Mercedes-Benz, discussing the balance between elegance, sportiness and luxury.
Since 2016, our chief designer, Dr. Gordon Wagner, he brought to Mercedes-Benz the ethos of sensual purity. It's all about elegant design, it's about sporty design, luxury, and it's really helped the brand to claim the top spot again in terms of you know, the latest design language. It's a design language we believe that will also carry us into this future, which, to be very honest, is quite uncertain now with all the new entrants coming in. But we believe strongly from the products that we have on the market at the moment and what we've seen that will come in the next years, carrying through this design language, I think we are well positioned to have a very, very successful future as Mercedes-Benz. Like I've said before, our intention is to build the world's most desirable cars, and this design language definitely supports that.
So it does work.
It does work.
Highlight Mercedes-Benz past participation in the 1000 Mille Miglia and its connection to the event's history.
Yeah, so the Mille Miglia UAE experience, this is the second time that Mercedes-Benz is now involved. I think it's an important platform for us to showcase, firstly, our heritage. And you see that, I think, the greatest representation of cars is probably Mercedes-Benz. And also, we've used it as a platform this year to also show where we're coming from, but also where we're going to. You've seen the entire lineup of the G-Wagon, all the way from the models in the early 80s to our latest G580 electric G-Class. We're waiting for the sales release here in the Middle East, probably end of December or January next year. So yeah, the Mille Miglia helps us showcase this to the right target audience to create a hype about the vehicle. And yeah, so very, very happy to be part of the Mille Miglia.
So am I gonna take this car after?
I'm not sure about that because I'm going to fight you for it.
And I'll say that you signed the papers.
Yeah, this is really special. Like I said, 200 made, and yeah, I mean it's only appreciated in value, and that's another great thing about Mercedes-Benz when we look at the heritage. We know that our cars do appreciate in value, especially those cars that are special editions or limited editions. If you can get your hands on one, you know that over time it'll be worth more than what you paid for it.
So this question is also off the books here.
No problem.
When they built this,
yes,
this two-door convertible G-Class, which is very rare now, was it a plan at that time to have this car as it's a limited car?
Yes, remember when you look at the life cycle of a vehicle, it goes through the initial launch of a new model, and then that's usually with us for about 4 years. We then bring in what we call a midlife refresh or a facelift. That's there for another 3 years. All of these are very important because it allows us to invest into a model, invest into R&D, invest into design, invest into technology, and it helps us recover that return on investment. So we plan for this return on investment over 7-year life cycle.
So it's always planned. So
it's always planned.
So there is a plan of 2 doors coming soon?
That I'm not sure about, to be honest, because we've just released the new G-Wagon, which is the 465 edition, the W465.
Yeah.
No, even before the electric version is different.
Okay.
But we've also launched the latest the latest offering of the normal G-Wagon. Remember, from this year we've got now the 465, the W465 series.
Yes. So it's the twin turbo
W460.
V6.
This is the 463 series that we're in. And so when you get to the end of the life cycle and demand starts to drop naturally, customers are waiting for the new model.
Okay.
So as manufacturers, you want to stimulate demand. So one of the ways to stimulate demand is to bring out a very sought after limited edition that gets people again to come back into the brand and to buy from the brand, because you've got production capacity in a factory that needs to be used. And this is what we did. At the end of the life cycle of the 463, we built the normal 4-door, the G Grand Edition. It came in a G500 as well as the 2-door. The 4-door came in 1,500 cars only, and this particular model came in 200 only.
There is one called Mini G-Class. Is that on paper or that's coming?
So, part of our strategy in terms of preparing for this future for Mercedes-Benz, we speak always about the luxury component of Mercedes-Benz. And when you look into the luxury component, we said luxury is more the mid and the top-end vehicles. The entry cars, for us, it's not talking as much to that luxury philosophy as all of the other cars. So we're really looking at what our entry segment is, and that's a segment with the A-Class, the A sedan, the hatchback, the CLA, the B-Class, etc. And we're coming up with a range of cars in that segment that really elevates luxury again, so that there's no vehicle in the Mercedes-Benz portfolio that doesn't speak luxury. And one of the models being spoken about is a You've said a Mini G.
The
We
Mini
haven't
G,
got a
yeah.
name for it yet.
But that car is coming.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
so I should wait.
I don't know if you should wait. There's time to get one now, and there's time to get one in the
Ah,
future.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But also speaking of Mercedes now, because we're talking about G-Class especially, that if that Mini G coming, will it be electric or petrol? Or you don't have
so
any-
that's an interesting question. If you remember, well, not long ago, 2 years ago, our CEO Ola Kalinius spoke about being fully electric by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean that was a plan, and we as a manufacturer, we came out with an electric vehicle in every single segment that we participate in. We have electric vehicle for it. Unfortunately, a few things haven't happened. For instance, governments haven't been quick to react, and they haven't provided the infrastructure electric vehicles need in many countries.
So you're kind of slowing down on that now.
No, it's so what we've realized at the end of the day, it's actually the customer that determines the
yeah.
speed of electric vehicle adoption.
I got
So no matter what we want to do as a company, no matter what governments say about where they want to be, at the end of the day, the customer will decide, and the customer's decision is based on when does the convenience of owning an electric car match the desire for also sustainability. I mean, we see in the Middle East already, we see in the UAE, we've got total electric vehicle adoption sits around 3%. In the other Gulf countries, it's less than 1%. And this again it goes against what's the infrastructure like in these countries. So as infrastructure becomes more available and a lot of money is being invested, we think the adoption will start. We see a lot of adoption in the entry segment at the moment. A lot of taxis, you see a lot of the driver, chauffeur services. And consumer adoption has not been as quick as we wanted to
As
see it.
you guys, like, as everyone were expecting in a way that
Absolutely. So what we've realized is that we will allow the customer to choose, and for that reason, we'll have two streams. We'll have the internal combustion engine stream, which we'll continue bringing out new models, refreshed models, and we're pretty sure the models we have will take us well into the 30s. And we continue the development and innovation on the electric vehicle side.
Now, this question I have heard, but I'm not sure about it, that Mercedes planned to stop the classes which is less than E. Like no more, like the, let's say, how to explain it in a way, like A class, B class, C class. They had a plan that they just want to be one luxury brand.
No, so that's not something that I know about, and that's not a part of the strategy at all. I mean, I spoke to you now about elevating the luxury of the small cars.
Yeah.
So we would not invest into a model that we're going to stop. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, a car, once you launch a car, it needs 7 years for you to have your return on investment.
Oh,
So,
okay.
the automotive industry works in cycles of 7 years. But to get to that 7 year, where you bring a car to market and recover your investment, you need to invest almost 3 to 5 years in the development, the research, the design. So, whenever you come to market with a product, it's taken 10 years by the time you actually can say, I want to stop that particular model.
How do you know about any brand you bring out is after 7 years?
That's right. I mean, you look at every vehicle that you've known from Mercedes-Benz so far. The car follows that. I mean, we have a few special models, like the SL, for instance. The SL, the iconic SL, that has a 4 years. Then it has a refresh, a midlife refresh, a life cycle, and it has another 4 years. So it has an 8-year life cycle. But every other car that you see from Mercedes-Benz has a 7-year life cycle. Unless something special happens in between, or we want to do something different, then we extend the life.
So
but generally,
so let's say if I decide to buy a completely fresh Mercedes now, which has came out,
yes.
I never worries for the next 7 years.
Yeah, next 7 years, that is the model.
This is the model
that
which
is
is
the
gonna
model.
stay.
Yeah, it will get.
That's
It'll
very
after 4 years, like I said, after 4 years, it will have some
The like
a
facelift,
little refresh,
small-
a facelift.
yeah.
But usually that's in headlights, it's trim elements, it's rims, it's technology. Because I mean, the thing that changes the fastest is the technology today.
Yes.
And you need to keep updated. with that. But again, as we move into this digital future, a lot of the technological changes also come from over-the-air software updates.
For the last 30 years, you have been with Mercedes.
That's right.
Now my question is very simple. You are fan of the new technology or the old technology?
So it makes it very difficult with Mercedes because we do build amazing internal combustion engines. Actually, if you look at the current internal combustion engine, we build the most efficient
Yes.
engines in the world, right? So
Yeah, which is still you guys doing the best so far.
We drive great cars. We build great cars. We drive great cars. Now, the electric car I drive is amazing. I drive an EQS 580 SUV. I love it. I mean, that interior is like something out of Star Wars, or
Yeah,
it's
with
just
full
incredible.
dashboard,
Absolutely, the full screen, the hyper screen. So it's incredible. But let's look at it differently, right? For 95% of drivers in the world, they don't drive 6-cylinder engines or 8-cylinder engines. They
It's
drive
more-
little 3 or 4-cylinder
Yes,
engines.
yes, yes. You actually
And
said that.
it's 800 cc's, 900, maybe a liter nowadays. And the experience they have is not the best driving experience. Now suddenly, there's a cheap electric car that comes onto the market. Now, any electric car is a little pocket rocket. Its performance is amazing.
Yes, true.
So I believe very strongly that most of the change will come from the entry segments, because once you drive a car that gives you that performance at that cost, it's very difficult to go back to
to
an
go
internal
back to
combustion.
yes, I got what
Now
you mean,
it's
yeah.
more difficult for us on the top end to change because we drive beautiful cars. There's no reason to change that, unless, of course,
You are a completely petrol head. That's a different story.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you want a V8 and you can't do without it, and you want that sound. But I must say, having driven the electric now, I used to be a fan of the AMG. Don't get me wrong, I love that sound. Now that I've been in electric, I love the silence. I realize, what do I do in a car? I listen to music, or
And
I'm
it's quick.
talking, I'm making business calls,
And it's quick and it's quiet.
and it's quick and it's quiet, and
Yeah.
it allows you to actually. Now when I'm sitting in a car that roars, I love that oral pleasure, but I want to go back to my car. In fact, I turned on the artificial sound, and after a day I couldn't wait to turn it off because I started getting so used to the silence, and it's incredible how quickly we adapt to
Yeah,
that
that's
instant acceleration, to the quietness, and and just the music sounds so much nicer.
That's very true. Speculate on the future of automotive technology and the role of Mercedes-Benz.
The future of the automotive industry is definitely one of sustainability. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the world today in terms of global warming, we know we have to play our part in reducing carbon emission. So sustainability, we as Mercedes-Benz have committed to being net carbon neutral by 2039. That's something we will not turn away from. The second thing is electrification. Also, again, we realize that we do not determine the speed of battery electric vehicle adoption, the customer does. So what we've decided is that we will continue 2 streams of technology, the internal combustion engine stream and the battery electric vehicle stream, until the customer moves to the battery electric vehicle. We think this will happen in differing times, in different places. For instance, already in Norway, we are selling almost 100% of our vehicles are battery electric vehicles. Almost
Oh, wow.
100%.
Okay.
Actually, it's 100% right now. In other markets, and the Middle East as an example, in the UAE, we only sell 3% battery electric vehicles. In other Gulf countries, less than 1%. So adoption is at different rates around the world. But we do see the future as being electric, because remember, the automotive industry works in cycles. We are in the electric vehicle cycle, and other technologies will be discussed and explored. But for now, it is the electric vehicle.
Now it's my favorite part, which is out of context. So how do you start your day?
Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, you're right. I mean, managing the Middle East and Africa, every single day, at least half of the countries that you manage have got some crisis. So you don't have a chance during the day to do anything but work. So in order to have a balance, and I don't call it work-life balance, I call it life balance. because work is part of life. I have to start my day at 5 in the morning.
Ooh.
I subscribe to something, it's actually from a book by Robin Sharma. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. So I take, from 5 a.m., I take a few minutes to just think about my day. What am I doing? What's my meetings? How do I position myself for what's coming in the day? I then spend some time, another 15 minutes in just meditation. And then I do 1.5 hours of gym. And then shower.
1.5 hours of gym?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in my job again, it's it's a lot of meetings, sitting at desks, so you never get the chance to move during the day. So I use the opportunity in the morning to just move, get some exercise, get some cardio going, burn enough calories that allows me to have the 4 cups of coffee in the day.
Oh,
and,
okay.
yes.
I was just about to ask you about the coffee part.
Yes, there's lots of coffee, as you can imagine, and it's usually a late evening as well. So yeah, from a lifestyle point of view, my morning starts off, and most mornings starts off with gym and the 5 a.m. club, and I've been doing it now for the past 7 years.
This question I always like to ask: what is your dream car?
Oh, I don't even have to think about that. I mentioned earlier that I had the privilege to launch every model of Mercedes-Benz for a long time, and the car that I launched in 2009 was the SLS AMG. It was the 6.3 litre normally aspirated Mercedes-Benz with the gull-wing doors. And for me, that car's got such a special place.
So that's that dream car?
Oh, that's my dream car. I love it. I'm going to buy one.
Oh,
wow. That's
okay.
the V8 that I will keep forever. Even though I will drive electric cars, it'll be the V8 that I will have in my garage.
And what about the childhood? Like, we all loved cars when we were kids. So what was your childhood car?
I was lucky enough that my father was also a Mercedes person.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I
So
always had this dream to say, hey, Dad, by the time the way I said it at the time, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to own a Mercedes Benz. And he said, let's see. He says you're going to have to work very hard. So I did
Trust
it.
me, I get the same thing.
Yeah.
We get the same thing.
So I did it the other way. I went and worked for the company, so they gave me a company car.
Wow.
That was a Mercedes-Benz. So my first Mercedes-Benz was actually an E-Class. It was amazing that I brought it home to show to my dad. And my dad said to me, congratulations, son. I hope you know what this means. He says it means you have to work really, really hard to earn that car and keep that car.
So now, the question is, if I would ask you to have an Hollywood actor for Mercedes-Benz, who would you pick?
Oh, wow, never thought about that before. Who would I take to present? Jason Statham,
yeah?
the Transporter. I think he'll be amazing.
Okay, that was a quick one.
Yeah, why not? So, I mean, if I go to the leading males, when he talk, if Jason Statham had to talk about cars, you'll believe him.
Yes.
Because of course he's been in every car. It looks like he's driving like a stuntman. He drives like a professional. So yeah, I think he would be very convincing as somebody to present.
And he have that aggressive.
Of course. He's, you listen when he talks.
Yeah. And if I give you another choice to choose a movie to present Mercedes-Benz, which movie would it be?
The first one that comes to mind is actually the latest, not the latest, the last superhero movie. The one with Wonder Woman, and it was actually DC Comics. She was driving an E-Coupe Gal Gadot, and when she walks away from that car, I mean that must be one of the most iconic moments in cinematic history. So,
but already Mercedes is already in the cinema.
Absolutely.
Most of the movies, half of the movies.
Like we said, that Mercedes-Benz has got such a amazing history in the cinema. You can go back to the classics of the 50s and the 60s and you'd find our cars in those movies. Yeah.
Of course, we're talking about Mercedes here. If you're gonna choose an athlete which is represent Mercedes, who will it be?
An athlete to represent Mercedes-Benz.
Not me.
I mean, the problem is that we already have so many of them associated with the brand. I mean, if you look at Roger Federer, for instance, I'm not taking the motoring athletes like Lewis or George Russell. Let's just look outside of motoring. I think Roger Federer is one of those iconic, he brings He brings that class to Mercedes-Benz. He brings with it. It's kind of a match made in heaven when you look at Roger Federer. So yeah, as an athlete, I think for me, he's the most iconic Mercedes-Benz brand ambassador. I can call it that way.
I watch football a bit, but I don't like it much. But if we would choose a football player to present Mercedes, who will it be?
Yeah, so I'm not the Messi one. I'm the Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo at his age, what he does is just absolutely incredible. So yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo for me just epitomizes everything about a footballer. His passion, the eagerness to still win trophies even though he's considered over the hill. And secondly would be Mo Salah, because I'm a Liverpool person. So what can I say?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not a football guy, but I'm with you in it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, the only thing I would tell you, it was an amazing chit-chatting with you, driving this one of 200 cars. But still, my question is now, am I taking this with me or not?
It is a little more expensive than what you were considering. Just a little, maybe 2 zeros more.
But honestly, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. The pleasure was all mine.
Yeah, it was a pleasure chatting with you, and now we know way more things about Mercedes than we didn't know, to be honest.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I mean, if the drive had been longer, we could have spoken about many more other things, but we'll save that for next time.
Oh yes, there is always a next time.